Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like there's a part of you pulling you down? The version of you that sleeps in when it should rise, that chooses comfort over growth, that makes promises and breaks them in silence. You know he exists because you hear him every day, whispering, "Take it easy. Start tomorrow. You've done enough." But there's another version of you, one that's disciplined, focused, ruthless with excuses. He doesn't beg for strength, he builds it. He doesn't wait for permission, he takes command. These two versions of you, they fight a war every single day, and only one will win. In this video, we're going to destroy the weak self and awaken the warrior within, because self-mastery isn't a suggestion, it's a battle, and today, you fight. Chapter 1. Burn the excuses. The weaker self is clever. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Start tomorrow. You've done enough. You're not ready. But these aren't just thoughts. They're traps. Excuses are the slow poison of potential. Every time you let one pass, you give oxygen to the part of you that wants to remain average. Excuses are not reasons. They are stories your comfort-loving self tells to stay safe. And the truth, they don't protect you. They confine you. They weaken you. They kill the man you're trying to build. The Stoics were warriors of the will. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength comes when you stop negotiating with laziness, when you refuse to rationalize weakness, when you act immediately, without waiting for perfect timing, motivation, or mood. Want to kill the weak version of yourself? Here's the formula. When you hear yourself make an excuse, act anyway. Don't think, don't pause, don't overanalyze, just move. You say, "I'll work out later." No, do push-ups right now. You think, "I'll read when I have time." Pick up the book. Open to the first page. Start reading. You feel the temptation to delay? That's your signal to go now. The stronger you becomes, stronger with every act of resistance. Each time you reject an excuse, you reinforce the identity of someone who moves, someone who commands his life. Set hard, non-negotiable rules for yourself. Not goals, laws. Wake up at the first alarm, no snoozing. Work out even when you're tired. Read daily, no exceptions. Because each act of discipline is a strike against the old version of you, the passive one, the excuse maker, the comfort seeker. The battle begins the moment you wake up. How you handle that first decision, the alarm, the routine, the first thought, determines the tone of your entire day. Win that first fight, and you'll find it easier to win the rest. Chapter 2. Discipline is your foundation, not motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in waves and disappears when the water gets rough. It's exciting, it's emotional, but it's unreliable. And the man who waits to feel like it will wait his whole life. The weak version of you thrives on motivation. He says, "I'll start when I'm inspired." He believes he needs the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, the perfect moment. But the strong version of you doesn't ask how he feels. He acts because he decided to. The Stoics weren't motivated. They were trained. They lived by principle, not emotion. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Preparation doesn't come from feelings. It comes from repetition, from habit, from doing the work, especially when you don't feel like it. The athlete who only trains when he's pumped up loses. The soldier who only sharpens his blade when he's in the mood dies. The philosopher who only seeks truth when it's convenient remains ignorant. Discipline is what separates the average from the excellent. And the truth is, discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day. Every time you act without waiting for motivation, you are laying the bricks of self-mastery. Want to change your life? Stop chasing emotion. Start enforcing structure, create systems, build rituals. Don't ask, "Should I work out today?" Just show up. Don't ask, "Do I feel like reading?" Open the book. Don't ask, is this a good time? The right time is now. Discipline removes the need for decision. It replaces hesitation with certainty. It transforms identity. The weak man debates, the strong man executes. You must become the man who acts, regardless of how he feels. This is the root of all power. To move when others pause. To press forward when others wait. To take action when comfort says stop. There will be days when your mind screams, not today. That's your cue. That's the moment that defines everything. Don't wait for motivation. Become the kind of man who doesn't need it. Let your discipline speak for you, louder than any words, louder than any mood, louder than any excuse. Chapter 3. Hardship is your trainer. Most men run from pain. They dodge discomfort. They crave soft roads, easy wins, and predictable paths. But those are not the roads that build greatness. Those are the roads that bury it. You were not designed to avoid struggle. You were designed to be shaped by it. The weak self flinches at adversity. He sees hardship as punishment, something unfair, something to escape. He complains, blames, and retreats the moment things get hard. But the strong version of you, he sees pain as a teacher. He knows that every setback is an invitation to grow. He understands that growth demands resistance. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show a person's character, not create it, reveal it." Pain doesn't break a strong man, it refines him. Discomfort doesn't scare him, it sharpens him. Every hardship is a forge, and you are the metal. The heat you avoid is the same fire that could have made you unbreakable. This is the mindset shift. Hardship isn't the enemy, it's the curriculum. The strong man doesn't pray for comfort, he prays for resilience. He doesn't hope for easy days, he hopes for the strength to conquer the hard ones. That's where confidence comes from. Earned resilience, not imagined potential. If you keep avoiding struggle, you will never become more than you are now. You'll stay soft, you'll stay fragile, you'll stay unfinished. But if you choose discomfort, if you welcome resistance like a soldier welcomes training, you'll rise. And soon challenges that used to crush you won't even shake you. Start seeking out hardship. Push your body until it trembles. Sit with your fears instead of running from them. Choose the harder path, on purpose. Because every act of suffering embraced makes you stronger than the day before. There's no shortcut, no bypass, only fire. But the man who walks through it willingly becomes steel. Chapter 4. Mastering your emotions. A man who cannot control his emotions is a man already defeated, not by others, but by himself. He lashes out in anger, he crumbles under fear, he hesitates when it's time to act. He is not the master of his life, because he is not the master of his mind. The weak version of you lets emotions sit in the driver's seat. He reacts before thinking. He speaks before reflecting. He moves without purpose, pulled by every storm that passes through his heart. But emotions are not facts. They are not truth. They are wind, loud, strong, unpredictable, and temporary. The Stoics understood this. They didn't suppress emotion. They disciplined it. They didn't become cold. They became composed. They trained themselves to respond, not react, to observe, not absorb, to use emotion, never to be used by it. Seneca said, "A man who is angry is not in control of himself. And if you are not in control of yourself, you are at the mercy of the world." Mastery begins with observation. When anger rises, pause. When fear creeps in, ask why. When anxiety strikes, breathe and interrogate it. Do not trust the first emotion that enters your mind. It's not always real. It's often just noise. The strong man steps back before he steps forward. He evaluates, then executes. He makes choices from clarity, not chaos. This is not weakness. This is power. It It takes far more strength to remain calm under pressure than it does to explode. The man who controls his emotions controls his fate. So the next time your blood starts to boil, pause, think, lead with reason, not reaction. Let your discipline decide your response, not your mood. Because storms will always come. But if your foundation is still, you'll never be shaken. Chapter 5. Self-respect through self-discipline. There's a kind of man who walks into a room and doesn't need to say a word. People feel his presence, not because he's loud, but because he's built something within that can't be ignored. That something is self-respect. And self-respect isn't handed to you. It's earned through discipline. The weak self chases validation. He wants to be liked. He craves applause. He needs approval to feel like he matters. But what kind of man relies on the opinions of others to define his worth? That's not strength. That's slavery. The strong version of you doesn't need to be seen. He needs to be true. He doesn't flex his accomplishments. He embodies them. He holds himself to a higher standard than anyone else ever could. He doesn't post to prove. He doesn't beg for attention. He earns respect by showing up, doing the work, and refusing to fold when it gets hard. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And the weak man wastes it chasing shallow approval, scrolling endlessly, comparing constantly, living reactively instead of intentionally. But the strong man reclaims his time and invests it. He feeds his mind, strengthens his body, builds his craft. Not because anyone is watching, but because he is. This is what separates them. The weak man wants to look like someone. The strong man wants to become someone. He doesn't adapt to fit in. He stands firm to stand out. He doesn't change to be liked. He grows to be respected. He's not desperate to be accepted, because he's already accepted himself. That's what self-discipline gives you. A backbone, a compass, a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout. The man who respects himself doesn't wait for permission. He sets the standard. He becomes the example. And in a world full of noise and ego, that kind of man, and a man of character, is rare. But when he speaks, people listen. When he acts, people follow. When he walks, he leaves a trail worth remembering. Build that version of you, and you'll never have to chase respect. You'll become it. Chapter 6. The Art of Endurance. Most people quit not because they're incapable, but because they're soft. The first obstacle knocks, and they fold. The first setback stings, and they disappear. They mistake difficulty for defeat, and in doing so, they surrender their potential. But the strong man, he knows the truth. Endurance is the separator, not talent, not luck, grit. The weak version of you wants quick wins. He wants comfort now, and reward without sacrifice. But greatness doesn't respond to wishes. It answers to grind. The Stoics didn't just survive hardship. They sought it. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whatever way they happen." That is the path to peace. Peace through pressure, strength through strain, endurance through embracing the storm, not avoiding it. Endurance is not passive. It's not sitting still and hoping for things to get better. Endurance is active resistance. It's continuing to move forward, while everything around you tries to hold you back. And the longer you endure, the stronger you become, not just in body, but in will. Every time you choose to stay in the fight, when your mind begs you to quit, you're rewriting your identity, from fragile to focused, from fearful to unshakable. The strong man doesn't break under pressure. He becomes pressure. While others look for escape, he looks for elevation. While others retreat, he adapts. While others complain, he builds. This is your edge. The longer you can endure the fire, the more likely you are to rise from it forged. Train yourself to seek discomfort daily. Push your physical limits until your body learns that it can go further. Train your patience in chaos so your mind doesn't break when tested. Lean into resistance, because that's where your power is hiding. When others panic, breathe. When others fall apart, focus. When others quit, continue. Endurance doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you move despite it all. So ask yourself, can you suffer well? Can you keep walking with blood on your hands and purpose in your heart? Because if you can endure, you cannot be stopped. Chapter 7. The Power of Solitude. Weak men fear silence, not because it's empty, but because it's honest. When the noise stops, so does the distraction, and in that stillness, they meet someone they've been running from their entire lives, themselves. They numb the silence with scrolling, entertainment, mindless conversations. They surround themselves with noise because they're terrified of what the quiet might reveal. The insecurity, the confusion, the lack of direction. But the strong man, he seeks solitude because he understands that clarity is never found in chaos. It's found in stillness. Seneca wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." Solitude isn't loneliness. It's training. It's sharpening your thoughts. It's identifying your weaknesses without flinching. It's cutting away the noise until only the truth remains. You can't master yourself if you can't sit with yourself. The strong man uses solitude like a weapon, to reflect on where he's failing, to reconnect with his purpose, to strip away every layer of ego and get to the core of who he is. He doesn't depend on crowds for confidence. He doesn't chase applause for identity. He builds his character in the shadows, so that when he steps into the world, he's already grounded. This is the test. Can you be alone and not crumble? Can you face your thoughts without distraction? Can you carve direction from silence? Because once you master solitude, you become untouchable. No criticism can shake you. No opinion can sway you. No rejection can break you. You walk your path, clear, focused, and unbothered. And here's the truth. If you need the world to validate you, it will own you. But if you learn to validate yourself in silence, you become a force no one can control. So spend time alone. Think, journal, breathe, let the noise die, and watch your power rise. Chapter 8. Controlling the chaos of the mind. Your mind is a battlefield, and if you don't control it, it will control you. The weak man lets every thought take root. He obsesses over the past. He fears the future. He drowns in overthinking, self-doubt, and imaginary disasters. He's not living, he's reacting. But understand this, your thoughts are tools, not truths. And just like a sword, they must be sharpened and controlled. The Stoics trained their minds like warriors trained their weapons. They knew, the man who cannot govern his thoughts becomes a slave to them. The strong man, however, steps back. He observes his mind like a general watches the battlefield. He knows when to strike, when to retreat, and when to hold the line. He does not accept every fear as real. He does not follow every doubt into a spiral. He filters, fiercely. He replaces worry with strategy. He turns distraction into focus. And when his mind screams chaos, he answers with clarity. Controlling your mind means understanding this. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every emotion deserves a reaction. Not every urge deserves action. If you can't control your mind, the world will do it for you. Advertisements, algorithms, noise. Everyone has a plan for your attention, except you. So make one. Start with awareness. Watch your thoughts like clouds in the sky. Don't chase them. Eliminate mental clutter. Get off the apps. Cut the noise. Build a quiet space within. Meditate. Even 5 minutes a day builds mental armor. Replace weakness with repetition. Discipline trains the mind, not inspiration. When your thoughts pull you into fear, Counter with action. When your brain says, "You can't," answer with, "Watch me." When negativity creeps in, reject it like poison. Because the truth is brutal and freeing. If your mind is weak, nothing else will be strong. But if your mind is sharp, no storm, no setback, no enemy will ever defeat you. Train it like a muscle, discipline it like a soldier, and rule it like a king. Chapter 9. The Warrior's Mentality. Life is a battlefield, and you're either stepping forward with strength or stepping back into weakness. The weak man avoids the fight. He ducks challenges. He hesitates in the face of fear. He tells himself stories. "It's too hard. I'm not ready. Maybe later." But warriors don't wait for the perfect moment. They train for it. They prepare for war, even in times of peace, because they know the storm always comes. The warrior doesn't pray for ease. He asks for endurance. He doesn't cry when life hits. He strikes back with discipline. He doesn't collapse in doubt. He rises through action. The Stoics honored this mindset. They weren't passive philosophers. They were soldiers of the soul, unshaken, prepared, ruthless with themselves. To be a warrior is to commit to the hard path, not because it's glorious, but because it forges you. The warrior doesn't fold after failure. He learns. He doesn't run from resistance. He leans into it. He doesn't fear the pain. He welcomes it, knowing that every blow builds something stronger inside him. His mentality is simple. No retreat, no surrender, no excuses. When the voice inside says, "You've done enough," he responds, "Then do more." When others slow down, he accelerates. When comfort calls, he turns away. He sharpens himself with every setback because he knows victory is not given, it is taken. And the real battle, it's not with the world, it's not with enemies, it's with himself, his doubt, his fear, his weakness. The warrior fights these daily, and he fights to win. Because a man who has conquered his own mind cannot be conquered by anything else. That's the mentality. Get up, keep going, never break. Chapter 10. The Legacy of Strength. In the end, every man leaves something behind. Some leave regret, some leave excuses, some leave nothing at all. But a few, a rare few, leave behind a legacy, carved through discipline, forged in fire and sealed with relentless effort. Weak men fade. They pass through life quietly, hoping the world will remember them, while wasting the time they were given. They chase distractions. They settle for ease. They wait for meaning, instead of creating it. But the strong man lives deliberately. Every action, every habit, every sacrifice, part of a bigger mission. He understands. Legacy isn't built in comfort. It's built in the grind no one sees. It's built when you train while others sleep, when you stay disciplined while others drift, when you choose the hard path, not because it's required, but because it's right. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write philosophy, he lived it. Not for fame, not for praise, but to leave behind a roadmap of resilience for those who would follow. And that's what you're building. Your life isn't just about today, it's about the imprint you leave on the world when you're no longer here. So ask yourself, when they speak your name, will it carry weight? Will your actions echo after you're gone? Will your discipline, your strength, your example, outlive your presence? Legacy isn't status. It isn't fame. It's the impact you make by becoming the man others aspire to be, the one who stood tall when the world bowed down, the one who didn't flinch, didn't quit, didn't break. So live with urgency, lead with purpose. Act like your time is limited, because it is. Every day is a brick, every choice is a stone. What you build is up to you. Build something worth remembering. You were not born to live soft, to obey your weaknesses, to die with your potential untouched. You were born to rise, to lead, to sharpen your mind, harden your spirit, and forge a body and soul that cannot be broken. The world doesn't need another man who waits. It needs one who moves, one who fights, one who refuses to settle for anything less than mastery. You already know what must be done. You've seen the weak self. Now you must bury him. You've felt the pull of comfort. Now you must reject it. You've heard the voice of fear. Now you must silence it with action. From this moment forward, no more excuses, no more delays, no more negotiating with weakness. This is your time. This is your mission. This is your life, and you will live it with strength, with discipline, and with purpose. Because when it's all over, let them say, he didn't run, he didn't fold, he fought, and he became the man he was meant to be.